Hello there and welcome back. I am starting the day off by pampering my flowers with a little extra water and a haircut. Then I'll be assembling some Adirondack chairs by Yefu, who is kind enough to be sponsoring today's video. Once that's done, it's out to the front porch to create an inviting and relaxing hangout spot using the new chairs. And finally, I'm hoping to improve my grilling skills by preparing some chicken with a yummy glaze for dinner. There's a lot going on today, which I hope you'll enjoy, so let's go ahead and get started. I am starting my day in the backyard. The early morning hours is my favorite time to water the flowers, enjoy the view, and listen to the birds sing. Watering is always my first and most relaxing task. I'll also be topping off the solar fountain water, which is something that I need to do every couple days or so. I am really surprised at how much I have been enjoying this. It adds such a nice little touch to the yard and the container garden, and I'll make sure to link it down below in case you're interested in picking one up for yourself. It's just such a nice little feature. Some of my flowers are in need of a little haircut, which I'm going to tackle next. I have to be pretty careful with this geranium. A lot of the flower clusters look like they're ready for trimming, but when I looked closer, there were new buds underneath, which I am so glad that I noticed before I cut them off. This plant has a lot of new flower clusters, which makes me very excited. I also need to trim my 2 endless summer hydrangeas, which always makes me a little sad. I know it needs to be done in order to get new blooms, but it's so hard for me to do. I do notice some new shoots coming up, so that is always a good sign. I did decide to leave 2 blooms that are just starting to get a little crispy. I think I can enjoy them for a couple more days without hurting the plant. There are still 2 blooms on this plant that are looking absolutely fabulous, so I'm very thankful for that. The second hydrangea is looking pretty good, but it still has a couple blooms that I need to trim off. The geranium next to it is in need of a little trimming as well. This plant has a lot of flower clusters where individual flowers are starting to fade, but there are new buds on those clusters that haven't opened yet, so it's a little hard to make it nice and tidy when it's in this stage. I am going to go ahead and remove some of the leaves that are getting a little crispy along the edges, just to make it look a little nicer. Around the corner, I wanted to share with you how well the pumpkins are doing. I am so pleased with their progress. This is the first time I have attempted to grow them in containers, and even with a slow start that they got this spring, they are looking really good. I have lots of flowers right now, so I'm taking that as a sign that they like this spot. These yellow flowers are so bright and cheerful. They remind me so much of a daylily, and they don't last very long, so I'm enjoying them while I can. I do have a cherry tomato plant tucked into one of the containers. It really hasn't done much. It's getting a little crowded, but it does have some flowers on it, so that's a good sign. This small area of the yard continues to be one of my favorites. I shared it originally back in my yard tour. I can link that below if you have missed that. It's just such a happy space for me. Rayma has been watching me from the safety of the deck. The sprinklers did their thing this morning, and the babies do not like to get their paws wet. She did eventually brave the wet grass, but not for very long. Now Quinn here, on the other hand, needed a little more persuasion. She did come down to get the lay of the land, but she quickly deemed it unsafe for her precious toy and headed back to the safety of the deck. My next task for the day is to assemble some Adirondack chairs by Yefu, who is sponsoring today's video, so thank you to them. I was pleased to see that each piece was clearly labeled with an easy to remove sticker, and everything I needed to assemble the chairs was included, like this Allen wrench and a handy screwdriver. The instructions were easy to follow and understand, and it took me less than 15 minutes to put one chair together, which I thought was fabulous. Plus, they have the whole assembly process streamlined down to a 5-step process, and seriously, it goes so fast, it's ridiculous. So in picking out what color of chair to get, I kind of wanted to branch out and do something a little different that I wouldn't normally do. So I went with this navy blue color, and I am so happy with it. It's nice and vibrant and I love it. There are, of course, many other colors to choose from as well. The chairs are weather resistant and maintenance free, which I think is a wonderful feature. They will not fade, crack, or warp, and they come with a 5-year warranty, which is super nice to have. Look at this beauty. I am so excited. They're going to look amazing on the porch. So moving out front, and as a side note, don't you just love the flags blowing in the wind? I installed these flag holders last summer and I still love them. But anyways, moving on to the task at hand. Yesterday I prepped the front porch by removing all of the decor and gave it a good sweeping, so it's all ready for me to create a nice cozy seating area to enjoy. As I was moving the chairs in, I was thinking to myself how nice and sturdy they felt, but at the same time, I was happy to find out that they weren't super heavy, and I was able to move them around myself, which I was very happy about, and I found that very convenient. I will have to say, just the nature of the chair itself is a little awkward, but it wasn't difficult and it wasn't terribly heavy. So I guess what I'm trying to say is that they're sturdy chairs and they're not terribly heavy, and I can move them around, and that makes me happy. So as you can see, I took my time finding just the right placement for each of the chairs. So off camera, I tried them in a few different positions, and I found that the most inviting look that I liked the most was when I slightly turned them towards each other and then centered them in front of the window. But even then, I had to find the exact position for each chair. I'm a little crazy that way, sorry about that. It took me a little bit, but I was finally pleased with the placement, and then I can move on to decorating the rest of the porch. I brought in a little table that I already had and placed it between the two chairs for convenience. Added some pink flowers, which I think go very nicely with the navy chairs. Added a sweet birdcage candle holder and a small rock from my collection to complete the table area. I, of course, wanted to add some more flowers to cozy things up, so I placed this wood box upside down to use as a riser for some gorgeous hot pink million bells, which are looking oh so fabulous. And then I tucked in this oversized wicker candle holder with a flameless candle in it right next to the chair, and I'm loving how this is coming together. I am going to add one more thing, and that is more candles so I can enjoy this space at night as well. I've had this birdcage planter for a long time, and I thought it would be great for adding some candles. So I added 3 flameless candles, and I think this is going to be perfect for a nighttime ambiance. And with that, I feel like this space is complete. I kept it simple the way I prefer, but it definitely has some character now. I am loving the new chairs. I think they're fantastic. The pop of color they give the space is so much fun. Thanks again to Yefu for sponsoring today's video. They are offering a 10% discount. I will list the code down below for you, as well as a link to their website. So I decided to take a break from working and enjoy my new space. So I grabbed my favorite book that I'm currently reading, and settled in for some me time on my newly decorated porch. I got to thinking after a little bit that I should have grabbed myself a drink and a snack, but I was too comfy to bother getting up for one at this point. So I sat out here for quite a while reading, and it was very enjoyable. Before long, it was time to start making dinner, and as I mentioned earlier, I am trying to improve my grilling skills. In the past, my husband has been in charge of this task, but I really wanted to learn how to do it. So he has taught me how to start the smoker, has given me some tips, and I am getting pretty good at it. I keep trying different recipes, and tonight I am making some chicken, and I want to make my own glaze to put on it. I don't have a recipe to follow tonight, but I think it's going to turn out pretty good nonetheless. I have to say I am very much enjoying learning how to grill. It allows me to be outside more, which is always a plus. I love it. The babies love it because if I'm out on the deck, the babies are not very far away. Plus, it's just fun to learn new things. Inside, I did put a pot of rice on to use as a side dish. And then I mixed up the glaze that I wanted to use on the chicken. I used some olive oil and then some hot sauce. This is the fruit hot sauce by Tahim. And then I also have some of their classic seasoning. So I added a little bit of both of that to the olive oil. I can't tell you the exact measurements. I just kind of used a little bit of each and then stirred it up and tasted it, and it tasted lovely. So then I just decided I'm going to slap it on the chicken, which is what I'm doing right here. And then I let it cook for another, 10-15 minutes or so. And while I was waiting for the chicken to finish up, I put together a quick little salad, I guess you would call it. This is like my favorite little side dish that I have been enjoying so much lately. It's just tomatoes, cucumber, and a little bit of mozzarella cheese, and it is so delicious and refreshing. I pretty much make this every single night now. And then here is the chicken coming off the grill. It is looking fabulous, and let me tell you, it tasted really good too. I'm so pleased with this. And here's a quick look at the finished meal. It turned out absolutely yummy, and I will definitely be making this chicken again. So that, my friends, is the end of my day. I'm going to spend a little time out here in the yard with the babies before it is time to go inside and go to bed for the night. I hope you guys enjoyed spending the day with me. I very much enjoy sharing it with you, and I wish you all a very good night.